Honey and beeswax are the two most important products of our apiculture industry. What I'm going to highlight today is about the challenges that the apiculture industry is facing right now due to a number of factors. First of all, you would find that our poor apiculturists who worked in the rural areas do not get enough funding to continue in their profession. The banks, mostly the government banks, deny them any kind of loans as because there is a myth that most of their farmers previously has not returned money to the bank, so they do not get much amount of money from them. So they are dependent on money lenders or mahajan in the rural areas who actually exploit them. So they rent them money at a very high interest. There is a need for intervention of the governments down here, but very little is done by any government across India. West Bengal is the largest honey producing state, and southern part of West Bengal in the district of North and 24 Parganas, Murshidabad, parts of Malda, Midnapur, all these areas are very much prolific areas for commercial honey production, as is continued within similar environment in case of Bangladesh. One of the most commercially important honey that is we found in West Bengal is called the Mangal honey, the honey which is produced in case of in the Sundarban region. So species of bees that come and infiltrate into the mangrove area from the northeastern, which is northeast area state, which are mostly Apis dorsata, the hill type. They are the wild bees that form their nest. They collect nectaries and pollen grains from the mangrove plants, and the honey they produce is called the golden honey or the Mangal honey, and it's produced only in the Sundarban regions of West Bengal in India and Bangladesh. And this is one of the most expensive honey. Honey is not only used, as you know, in case of Ayurvedic medical practitioner, it is nowadays used in various pharmaceutical, nutraceutical and functional food industries where there is a huge demand for honey in the international market. Other countries around the world also produce honey, but Indian honey being produced in tropical, subtropical and subtemperate regions, and the flavor is quite material of delight and is highly appreciated by people. But the plight of the people who are associated with this business is what I'm highlighting in this short video. It's not very good. Most of the honey producers in their next generation, their kids are not interested in going into this honey business, particularly for the reason is because they do not get enough return for the hard work that they do for this honey production. The commercial honey production is an extreme challenge. It needs a lot of years of experience and expertise for the beekeepers to learn from the system how it works and how they could utilize the bees in procuring honey with the reduction and impact of climate change and other natural and anthropogenic factors on the environment. Bee populations around the world are showing alarming decline, and so is the case of honeybees or those that are involved in producing commercial honey, is because they are not being able to produce enough honey throughout the year because of lack of shortage of floral plants or flower plants from which they collect the nectaries or pollen grain. Acute shortage of pollen grains, particularly mellifluous flora or the plants that help bees to collect nectaries and pollen grain, is so little that it becomes challenging for them to collect the nectaries and pollen grain from those flowers, and while they come back into their nest they vomit that honey, and with the help of their gut enzyme and through other enzymatic and fermentative process, honey is produced. But the challenge is that this is a migrant kind of a job. So the honey producers or apiculturists need to carry the bee boxes from one part of the West Bengal to the other. I'm just giving an example of West Bengal, but this is common in most part of India. So they will rotate from season to season from one district to another, depending on what kind of crops that are grown, what kind of fruits that are coming into flowering. So if it is flowering time for the mangoes, they will move into the upper Malda, Murshidabad districts, where there are innumerable mango orchards, where these bee boxes they will lay down in the orchards or around the agricultural fields, and the bees will go out in the morning and collect nectaries and pollen grain and convert them into honey. But the challenge is nowadays many of the farmers demand money for the service, that the ecological service that they are providing. Not only that, the panchayat members, local goons, policemen and all other kinds of people exploit these traveling bee producers which move from one district to another based on the season, based on the flowering time of different species of plants, agricultural crops and fruit orchards. They are being very much exploited. As a result, they have to spend so much money in the transportation cost while they're moving with their bee boxes, and there is so much lack of cooperation among the various districts in which they are transporting their bee boxes that a lot of bees are killed. Sometimes farmers, even if they watch that they have seen the bee boxes have been placed around their farming areas, still they continue spraying, and as a consequence of spraying, a huge number of bees are killed, and so the substantial agricultural production of honey is reduced. Furthermore, there are, excuse me, there are people who are afraid that bees may cause or bring diseases to their crop. This is complete illiteracy and lack of education and awareness. So many of them, these beekeepers are being beaten up by many agricultural crop producers, thinking that these bee people are causing them great harm. So with all these factors, agricultural production of honey is turning into a serious challenge. Apiculturists are facing considerable challenge. They cannot let the bees out during the monsoon period when they have to feed them on sugar water, and it's turning out to be quite an expensive process, and they are suffering at the end. So it is important for the government and non-government agencies to increase the awareness among the common people about bee education and the importance of bees in our ecosystem, and help and cooperate with these people and see that they are not exploited, so that we can get the highest quality of honey. Most of the time they do not get good prices by selling their honey, because there are middlemen who usually collect money from honey from them at a fixed price, and because it's a perishable commodity, they have to sell it at lower prices, and then they sell it to big companies. Many of the big companies do adulteration. They mix sugar and adulterate the honey and then sell it into the market. And that's why even in case of Ayurveda, where honey is a very important component of medical treatment, you will see that people are suffering from diabetes, because this is not true honey. This honey has been adulterated and is not suitable for human consumption because of their high sugar content. They do not have the complex sugar from natural honey that they should usually get. So all these challenges are putting apiculture and honey production in a very serious mode, and there needs to be people to take care of these problems and challenges so that we can have substantial honey production. As a bee researcher and an individual who works at the ground level, I share my empathy with all the bee farming communities and the bee farmers and the apiculturists because of the challenges that they are facing. This is a challenge particularly in case of developing and underdeveloped countries, where this is still an unorganized labor sector. Rules need to be passed. The government has to do something for these people to give them the protection and help in the business, because the bees provide a huge ecological services. In Western countries, beekeepers are paid money for transporting their boxes from one area to another, because they help in the cross-pollination process, which increases crop yield. Here they are beaten up, exploited, because people are thinking the bees are doing harm to the crops. What an irony. This needs to change. Thank you so much for this exposure. We'll look forward to talk to you again. Shoykot Kumar Basu, Bureau Report, Kalinga Chronicle TV.